From the Cleveland Indians home away from home, it's spring training baseball as the Tribe welcomes in their Central Division rivals, the Chicago White Sox. Hi again, everyone. I'm Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. We're going to take a look today, a hard, long look at that spot at third base. The competition is pretty clear. It's between Jack Hanahan, the veteran incumbent, and Lonnie Chisenhall, the young man who got the call-up last year. He's obviously the future, but right now it may be Jack Hanahan in the present.
Well, I would think that Lonnie Chisenhall's really going to have to beat him out this spring to get that job to starting every day. Jack Hanahan's a guy we know defensively he certainly can play. Offensively, he swung the bat very well last year. Chisenhall's really going to have to step up and do something to take that job away from Jack Hanahan.
All right, taking a look at the pitching today, Justin Masterson's on the hill for the Tribe. Now, a year ago, his command was so much better than it was the year before. In fact, he had 8 fewer walks last year than the season before, despite pitching 36 more innings.
Well, and he's only going to get better this year. That's the key for him. If he can control the strike zone and go out there and throw strikes, keep his pitch count down, he's going to go out there and go deeper into the ball game. And he is the #1 starter. He's going to come back, and they're looking for good things from the big man bat this year.
It's our second look at Masterson this spring. He looks sharp, and he will continue to work himself toward that opening day start for the Indians. For the Chicago White Sox, Dylan Axelrod gets the start, and first-year manager Robin Ventura will be in the dugout for Chicago. We're back with all the play-by-play action from Goodyear, Arizona, next. Just another sun-splashed afternoon in the desert. Goodyear Ballpark, where the Indians will take on the Chicago White Sox. Cleveland 3 wins, 7 losses, 3 ties on the spring. Chicago 3 wins and 8 losses coming in. Justin Masterson taking the mound for the Tribe. And with that, let's take a look at Robin Ventura's starting 9 for Chicago. It will be Alejandro De Aza in center field, A.J. Przinsky the catcher, and then Alex Rios will DH. Kosuke Fukudome will bat cleanup. Alexei Ramirez and Diane Viciedo in the middle, along with Brent Morrell, Dan Johnson, and Gordon Beckham.
Justin Masterson on the mound for the Indians, making his 3rd spring start. You can look at his numbers a year ago: 12 wins, a 3.21 ERA, 216 innings. Out there to build up the arm strength. He will be on the mound when we go back to Cleveland April 5th against the Toronto Blue Jays, opening day starter. So it's a matter that every starting pitcher works to get to that 100-pitch mark before they leave spring training. He's probably around 60 right now, I think 65. Defense behind him, Kanzler in left, Brantley in center, Spielberg's in right. It'll be Hanahan at third, Donald at short, Kipnis is at second, Duncan at first with Santana behind the plate.
Barry Larson calling the balls and strikes today. Then on the bases we'll have Tony Randazzo, Angel Campos, and Toby Bassner. It's a home and home between the Indians and the White Sox this spring. Not unusual that even though the geography is such that these two teams are separated by a mere 15 minutes, but when you play a team in your division as many times as the Indians and White Sox do, you don't necessarily schedule a ton of games against them in the month of March. First pitch strike to Alejandro De Aza. 75 degrees here in Goodyear, and the temperature expected to soar maybe another 10 degrees before this game is all said and done. Masterson fires, and a breaking ball fouled away. White Sox are sort of in an odd position in that they're rebuilding, but they're saddled with some big contracts that they really just can't move. So they've got some veteran players in this rebuilding process they really just have to work around.
Well, Adam Dunn has to come back. He was penciled in the DH or hit fourth today, but he was scratched. So Robin Ventura, the new manager, he needs the veterans like Rios, as Masterson throws a pinpoint strike to get out number one.
But you were saying he needs those veterans to sort of provide the leadership for the new guys as they come along.
Well, they're strapped to their contracts, so they must come up. Gordon Beckham at second base. He's been around. He's got to come back. Ramirez at shortstop. All their players have to have good years. A lot like we talk about the Cleveland Indians. They're players that they're paying to get the job done have to get it done.
A.J. Pierzynski. White Sox group certainly will be a lot of different faces than we're used to seeing. Lazy fly to center. Michael Brantley makes the catch, 2 down.
Well, one thing that the White Sox are going to have to do this year is find a closer, because last year they struggled to remember in the month of April. I think they blew 6 saves in the month of April, really turned their year around, and they tried Matt Thornton, who's going to get a chance this year. But Sergio Santos really stepped to the forefront and ended up closing games for them. And now you're going to get Jesse Crane that's going to get a look along with Thornton. And they have a youngster, Addison Reed,
yeah,
who can really throw the ball. But he started an A-ball last year and climbed the ladder. So they're really undecided on a closer. Whoever saves the first game is going to get a chance again.
Off the end of the bat towards center. Brantley is there. He makes the catch. And a quick 1-2-3 first inning for Justin Masterson as the White Sox go in order. Tribe coming to bat when we come back. The Indians will come to bat against Dylan Axelrod here in the bottom of the first. And for Manny Acta today, Michael Brantley leading it off, followed by Jason Kipnis and Shin-Soo Choo. 3 left-handed bats at the top of the order. Switch hitting Carlos Santana batting cleanup. Then it's Shelley Duncan and Russ Kanzler. The left-handed hitting Jack Hanahan. And then Ryan Spilborghs and Jason Donald.
Dylan Axelrod on the mound for the White Sox today, 26-year-older. 6 foot, 195 pounds. Made 4 starts in the big leagues last year, 3 starts, 4 appearances. One of those starts did come against the Indians. Spent most of the time last year at Charlotte, where he was 6-1 in 15 starts.
That start for Axelrod against the Indians was on September the 20th. It was in Cleveland. Nothing to really write home about. 4 2/3 innings in that game. He allowed 4 runs on 7 hits. Walked 4 and struck out 3. But this is a guy who I think they were contemplating maybe working out of the bullpen, but why not give him a long look to see if he can be a starter first? And that way, once he's stretched out, he can easily go to the bullpen if that doesn't work out.
That is correct.
Brantley with a floater to right field. Fukudome makes the catch.
The defense behind Axelrod today looks like this. Viciedo is in left, Diasa in center, Fukudome in right. Morel at third base, Ramirez at short, Beckham is at second, Johnson at first, with A.J. Brzezinski, the veteran, behind the plate.
Here's Jason Kipnis batting .278 on the spring with a homer and 5 runs batted in. One and one to count. Broke his bat, blooped to center, dropping in a hurry, and it's in for a hit.
Well, there's a case you make a good pitch, and you got to tip your hat to the hitter. Kipnis fights it up. Looks like it was maybe a cut fastball, but it was on the inside part of the plate. Shatters the bat, and it'll fall in front of Diasa for a base hit. You know, even those little hits like that in spring training give you confidence. Even though it's a blue pit and he busts your bat, just because you can say, all right, there's my knock. I got it out of the way. Now I can relax.
Heck, anytime you're standing on first base, you feel pretty good, don't you?
Anytime you make the left turn, you always feel good. They say it looks like a line drive in the paper tomorrow.
Now Shin-Soo Choo steps in, 1 on 1 out here in the first. No score. Dylan Axelrod listed at 6 foot, 195 pounds. Essentially, he's right at that sort of cutoff, that imaginary line. A lot of scouts, and they look at especially right-handed starters, you don't see many, if any, under 6 feet tall anymore. Kipnis goes on the pitch. It's a called strike. And a good throw, but he beats the tag, and a steal for Jason Kipnis.
Well, that's something we noticed a couple of days ago when we were playing Texas here. They tried to run early. And I'm guessing that Manny Acta's giving these guys the green light to see what they can do in spring training. If you can get a jump, go ahead and take off, see what you can do. Because, you know what, in spring training, you want to try a couple attempts stealing bases. It's something you just don't break out cold turkey once the season starts.
Second steal of the spring for Kipnis, and now Choo takes another strike. He's down on the count, 1-2. Choo having a good spring, hitting .333, couple of homers, 3 driven in. He hits it high in the air to fairly deep center. Diasa backpedaling. He'll make the catch. Kipnis will tag. He'll go. The throw offline. Jason's in safely, but now there are 2 down.
That's one thing that's as far as outfielders go, arms aren't in throwing shape yet to where they can go ahead and tag up and take a lot of extra bases here. They will get stronger as spring goes along, but outfielders nowadays, they don't throw as well as they once did.
Now Carlos Santana with 2 down and a runner at third.
That's strange. 2 out, bunt base hit by your cleanup hitter.
Third baseman playing back, I guess.
Yeah. Carl, look at him. Look at it. He's taking some abuse right now by Brzezinski, and rightfully so. Saying, what are you doing? Swing the bat. Look at, he's looking at Brzezinski's looking at our dugout. They're all over him right now. I guarantee it.
Cleanup hitter can't lay down a bunt.
Swing the bat. They're saying this is spring training, for goodness sake. There you go.
0-2 the count.
Now, if he does it on strike 3, he can turn around and tell Brzezinski, that's why I was trying to bunt.
Carlos just 3 for 21 so far this spring. That's high, 1-2. Chops it towards second. Beckham on the big hop throws him out. No runs, a hit, 1 man left aboard. No score after 1 in Goodyear. Second inning here in Goodyear. 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for the White Sox. It will be Kosuke Fukudome, Alexei Ramirez, and Diane Viciedo. Fukudome did a nice job last year coming over to the Indians from Chicago.
Yes, he did.
Manning right field when Chu was down.
Well, he might feel even more comfortable because he's back in Chicago, where he played, with the Cubs before the Indians acquired him.
Gone is Juan Pierre from the White Sox at the top of their lineup. He could be a real pest. Just slapping around and then get on base. Make things happen.
Who did he sign with? I'm trying to think.
Three-one pitch, swing and a miss, full count. Slashed foul, look out. Phillies maybe?
I think he did. Yes, I think he did go to Philadelphia. Yep. Thank you.
Payoff pitch, big bouncer, first base diving, stop by Shelley Duncan, and the flip to Masterson for the out.
Nicely done.
Boy, that was a terrific diving stop by Shelley Duncan to take extra bases away from Fukudome.
Well, and Masterson over there in time. I thought Shelley was going to try and beat him to the bag, but because of Masterson's hustle, he was able to flip it over and make his job a little easier because he did a nice job of stabbing that ball going down the line. Would have been at least a double. Masterson over there in time, and it's a nice play. He's saying something about I didn't have to dive.
Well, it just seems like with each game he plays, day in and day out, Shelley Duncan continues to show you how valuable he can be to this club.
Well, he knows how to play the game one way, and he leaves it on the field. I don't care if he's playing left field, if he's playing first base, or he DHs. He enjoys playing a game, and he puts his heart and soul out there, and that's the fun part about watching him. He's not blessed with the best talent, but he has a big heart.
Back to the screen, and when you talk about a role player, here's a guy, if he can play some first base, play some left field, he can be that right-handed bat off the bench if need be.
Well, yeah, if he, you know what, that way you can concentrate on keeping Santana behind the plate where he belongs, and you know, let him improve back there. You can play Duncan at first base, and if you want, you can DH Santana.
Jason Donald went out to get the shallow pop and left. 2 down. Here's our spring training news and notes brought to you by Taco Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good.
Well, it's cutting time.
Yeah. Scott Barnes did a great job yesterday. 3 shutout innings against the San Francisco Giants, but
that'll teach you. You better give up some runs. That way, at least have an excuse. But no, it was cutting time. Now they're down to what, 55, I believe.
54, 55,
yeah,
something.
There's still a ways to go. So it was a few cuts. When you start getting to about 10 games left to go in spring training, which should be about another week, that's when you start focusing on getting your everyday lineup out there.
Fouled off the facing of the Tribe's dugout. That sent them scattering.
Well, you better be paying attention no matter where you're at in the ballpark.
There's Joe Smith. We'll talk to him in a little while here today.
I'm surprised he didn't go out and try and catch it. I bet he called for it.
Right back to the screen. Masterson has retired all 5 he has faced. Oh, pretty good looking pitch. It's called a ball. The fact that Viciedo didn't even offer at it with 2 strikes is not surprising. He's known as a bad ball hitter. Chase that one, but he fights it off. Masterson again, the payoff pitch. Got him this time.
Well, he didn't get one, but got another.
1, 2, 3 go the White Sox. 2 scoreless for Justin Masterson. Back here in Goodyear, no score, bottom of the second inning. For the Indians, Shelley Duncan, Russ Kanzler, and Jack Hanahan due up. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, and we're happy to be joined now by Indians infielder Lonnie Chisenhall, fighting for that starting job at third base here in this spring training camp. Lonnie, thanks for being with us. How you doing?
I'm doing great, just out here enjoying some baseball.
Well, we've had tremendous weather all spring long, and of course that always makes it nice for you guys, going out, taking your ground balls, getting your batting cage work in and day out. How has this spring gone for you so far?
You know, so far it's been a little slow for me personally. I've struggled a little bit at the plate, a lot of strikeouts. So you know, just trying to work on a few things. They want to see me be more consistent with my at-bats and stuff like that. So I'm focused on that, but it hasn't looked too good early.
Well, what were you able to take away from last year, at least your time at the big leagues and going into the offseason, what you can work on for your game?
You know, just having a plan and committing to it. You know, sometimes it felt like I was just up there swinging, trying to get a hit on every pitch.
That's not a bad philosophy, by the way.
No,
I'll tell you, I got to like that one.
You want to get a hit. A few guys can get away with it. But you know, I got to go up there with an approach. The pitchers nowadays are doing such a good job of, you know, executing what they're trying to do. So you're just trying to offset what they're trying to do to you, and you know, take advantage of their mistakes.
It sounds a little bit like what Lonnie's saying is something that I read from him earlier in the spring, and that is a year ago, you at times you were trying to do everything. You're trying to, you know, get 3 hits in one at bat, trying to dig yourself out of early slumps.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, once I, you know, I was on a roller coaster last season, and when I was down there at the bottom, you know, I was trying to get as many hits as I could in a day, and you know, it turned into 0 for 4s and 0 for 5s instead of having those good at bats, and you know, maybe going 1 for 3 and bringing the average up a little bit. But you know, I got to be patient and, you know, let the season happen, you know, focus on what I'm trying to do, and then at the end of the year, step back and see what the numbers look like.
You know, it sounds like they want you to just be a little more disciplined. But you know what? When you're trying to make a ball club, that's hard to do.
I know. I'm trying to go up there. I mean, last spring training, I felt so good out there. I didn't walk very much, but I got a hit, I felt like, every time. So, you know, you got to find a happy medium in there where you can go out there, put up the good at-bats, and you know, get a few hits. It's not all about the numbers in spring training. It's about what they want to see, and you know, going up there and having good professional at-bats.
Yeah, but the tough thing, Lonnie, in your defense is it's hard when you're not out there every day. You know, you may play a day when if you go 0 for 2 and you only get 2 or 3 at-bats, and you're not playing the next day in game situation, then you got to wait another day. There's only so much you can work on in the cages.
I know. I feel so good in the cages, and then some days you get out here and you know, you're not in the lineup on the day you're feeling the best, but you got to take advantage of those days that get you out there. Maybe you only get 2 at-bats that day, but you got to make the most of it. I want to play every day. I want to have 4 or 5 at-bats every day, but I mean, at some point in time, you got to do what's asked of you.
Right.
And, you know, make the best of it.
You know, how's it been going defensively for you?
I feel really good defensively this year. I feel like my throws are a lot more accurate than they were last year, which is what I wasn't too confident with last year was the throws. You know, I was a little erratic, throwing the ball up the line and stuff like that, but you know, I fielding the ball and, you know, getting it to first base, I felt good so far. And, you know, I'm confident right now. Defensively, the hitting's a little slow to come around, but, you know, I'll catch up.
It's a funny thing, though. Even defensively, it's a confidence thing when you go out and take the field, isn't it? Just like it is hitting-wise.
It is. I mean, you make a few good plays, and, you know, you feel like Superman out there, and then you boot one ball, and you feel like you're searching for it for about a week. But, you know, you just got to stick with your game plan out there defensively. Also, play the hitters with what the spray charts are telling you to do. And, you know, have confidence in yourself. My confidence level has gone up, you know, yearly at third base as I get more at-bats and stuff. So, you know, I'm happy with how I am at third base. You know, I'm going to continue to improve.
Well, the guy that you're in competition with at third base is at the plate right now, Jack Hanahan. And you've already said that this spring that, you know, Jack has gone out of his way to be helpful. I mean, it's viewed as a competition, but it truly is a friendly competition, isn't it?
It is. I mean, everybody wants to go out there and compete. Even if you're not competing with a guy on your team, you still want to be the best third baseman. So, you know, Jack, I'm really fortunate to play behind Jack. He's so fundamentally sound, and you know, he rarely makes mistakes at third base. So anytime I'm able to pick his brain, I definitely do. And you know, there's no animosity there. We're going out there, we're working, we're trying to both make the team. So, you know, may the best man win, and we both know that.
Now, this past off season, you and your wife Meredith welcomed the new baby boy into the world. How's that changed life?
Oh yeah, it's definitely fun. The sleep schedule is a lot different now, especially he came in January, so I had to figure out how we were going to handle the night shift on days I was working out the next day or trying to go out to the field and get ready for spring. But now, fortunately, she's taking a lot of the load off of me. She's kind of wearing it at nighttime. But he's a pretty good sleeper. So fortunately for her, you know, she can get 6-7 hours out of him at a time at night. And you know, it's all for the best. I try to get home and play with him as much as I can after I leave the field. But it's about bedtime once I get home. So. Maybe I get to give him a half a bottle and, you know, let him laugh a little bit, and then it's time for him to go to bed, and me soon after. So
Hanahan lifts a high pop to right. Fukudome on the run. He won't get to it, and nice effort by Beckham. He went into a slide, but he couldn't get to it either. It's a long strike for Jack Hanahan.
Well, when you come down and play in the spring training ballparks, you're not familiar with the atmosphere around here, so he's got to go down early, and that's good effort. Trying to make that play. He realized he was getting close to the fence, so when in doubt, shy away or get down.
Hey, Lonnie, I got to ask you about your son's name, Cutter. That's not because you feast on Cutter pitches, is it?
No, there's not many people who feast on Cutter pitches.
That's what I was going to say.
You know, me and my wife were we couldn't decide on a name. We didn't want to, you know, we wanted not to be different, but we didn't want to have a name with a difficult spelling or, you know, somewhere where you have to repeat it a few times before people understand it. My last name is hard enough to begin with. So, no, I went on a road trip one day. We had been juggling a few names. I came back from a road trip, and I walked in the front door, and I said, Cutter, and she said, that's perfect. So, you know, it fits in perfectly, and all his little shirts have his name on it. So the grandmas are really taking care of him.
There's a flip to first for out number 2 as Hanahan grounds out. Well, congratulations on the new addition of the family.
Thank you.
Lonnie, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate your time. Best of luck to you the rest of the spring.
Thanks, guys.
You got it. That's Lonnie Chisenhall, terrific young ball player here for the Indians, and he's going to continue to work his tail off to get even better. As I said in the open, he may not be the Indians' opening day third baseman. There is little, if any, doubt that he is the third baseman of the future.
No question. No question. Lonnie's going to come back. I was surprised last year. I mean, there's always room to improve on everything. But, you know, they thought he was ahead offensively instead of defensively. But I like the way he played defense. Sure, you may make a few bad throws, but he fielded the ball well. And it's just a matter of time until he takes over. There's no question about that.
Ryan Spilborghs with a runner at third hits one toward the alley in right field. Fukudome won't get it. It's over his head. Scoring is Kanzler. Spilborghs into second with a 2-out RBI double. And the Indians strike first here today, take a 1-0 lead.
Well, he's been talking about he's got to try and get some base hits, and there's none bigger than a 2-out base hit. But a really good swing here by Spilborghs because watch him go inside out. Looked like that ball was inside on him. He tried to sink one in on his hands, but put a really good swing on the ball going to right center field. He stayed on it. You try and pull that ball, you're going to roll it over probably on the left side of the infield. But it's a big 2-out base hit. The Indians will play from in front this afternoon. It's 1-0.
Third RBI on the spring for Spilborghs. Now Jason Donald hitting ninth with a runner at second and 2 down. Looks at a ball outside. High fly ball, left center. Diaz, the center fielder, camps under it, and the inning is over. The Indians get a run on a couple of hits, leave a man. After 2, it's Cleveland 1, Chicago 0. Well, back here in Goodyear, 1-0 Cleveland as we move to the third inning. Bottom third of the order for Chicago due up here. Brent Morrell, Dan Johnson, and Gordon Beckham. Justin Masterson with a first pitch strike to Morrell. Brent Morrell having a good spring, batting .429. Time called. Morrell has shown pretty good ability from the defensive standpoint of playing third base.
Well, he's got some pop in his bat too. They're looking for him. He's got some pop in there. A lot of times he'll go out there and try and hook a lot of baseballs, but he's going to learn to stay on the baseball, and I think you'll see his average go up.
He did have a late surge last year. He hit 8 home runs in September.
Yes.
So certainly that gave them some hope coming into this year.
I think a couple of them were against the Indians as well. You see, there's that trying to go the other way.
Kipnis stays with it, throws him out, one away.
Well, you can come down to Progressive Field on March 24th. The Indian season ticket select a seat event. Its opening day is sold out, but you can still be there with a purchase of a season ticket package. You can test drive the best seats in the house and get a sneak peek of the newly renovated Club Lounge. That's March 24th. It'll be between 10 and 2. 216-420-HITS is the number you want to call.
Dan Johnson taking a strike from Justin Masterson. And it's quickly 0-2. Johnson broke in with Oakland. Spent the last couple of years in Tampa. Just a little bit outside. He really struggled with the Rays last year. In 31 games, Johnson hit just .119. Straighten him up with a fastball. Down in the dirt. And now it's a full count. And the payoff pitch. Got a piece to stay alive. Dan Johnson played collegiately at the University of Nebraska. But he grew up in Minnesota. And the payoff, a little bit too high. And that's the first base runner for Chicago today. First walk issued by Masterson against 2 strikeouts. And it will bring up Gordon Beckham with 1 on and 1 out. Gordon Beckham, you see the numbers there. He hit .270 as a rookie, and they were just sky high with hopes about Beckham becoming one of the elite second basemen in the league. .270 that rookie year in '09 with 14 home runs.
Didn't he start at third base? Ended up moving him over to second base. So, I mean, he was playing third when he first came up to the big leagues that year. They moved him over to second base. And here's a guy that they shot up and down the lineup. After that year, they wanted to hit him up in the top third. So I think he was hitting second for a point.
Hard hit ground ball to short. Donald goes to second for 1. Kipnis throw offline, but Duncan with a great grab and tag of the bag to end the inning. A terrific double play. Kipnis turning it with Duncan. Bottom of the third here in Goodyear. It's a 1-0 Indians lead over the White Sox. Top of the order, 2 up for Cleveland. Michael Brantley, Jason Kipnis, and Shin-Soo Choo facing Dylan Axelrod, the starter here today for Chicago. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, joined now by Aaron Cunningham, who came to the Indians this past offseason in a trade from San Diego. Aaron, thanks for taking some time today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
What was the experience like for you coming over here to Cleveland in the offseason with the trade and getting to know your new teammates now this spring?
It's been exciting. I mean, I've been all over, and it's just been real nice to get to a new team and make a new first impression.
Well, your job now is trying to win one of those spots in the outfield, and you've been playing, all over. And you haven't actually been able to get a chance to play every day because they're playing Ryan Spilborghs, and you see a number of guys. How do you feel about going in there and getting your opportunity this spring?
It's been great to be able to go out there and be able to start every day, get consistent at bats, and it's just been nice to get those at bats one after another.
Michael Brantley flying to right his first time up. Checks on a ball down low, as Ryan Spilborghs told us the other day. Said it seems like there are 55 guys competing for that spot out there in left field. Has it been your perception that it's a crowded camp right now with all the players in that locker room?
Yeah, it seemed real crowded actually. Out there we're doing outfield work. We have like 13 guys out there. That's the most I've ever been around during outfield work.
Does that give you an edge, a disadvantage, or do you not even consider it?
You don't even really want to think about it. I mean, we're out here playing the same game. We're out here playing baseball. I'm just out here to get the opportunity, have fun, and just show what I can do.
Pitch inside to Brantley is a ball, 2-2 the count.
But then again, as this game goes, last year the Indians at one time lost every one of their starting outfielders, so they felt they had to go out and maybe try and improve some depth, and that's one thing they did in the offseason.
Yeah, they did. It's been nice. They picked up a lot of guys. They got a lot of outfielders right now.
Here's a look at your at bat earlier in spring training against Arizona. Double to right field, off the wall. And obviously, as a ball player, all you ever want is just an opportunity. And so you come here and there's a job open. And again, it comes down to that competition. But as we talked to Lonnie Chisenhall last inning about competing with Jack Hanahan for the job at third base, it's friendly competition. It's not like you guys are staring daggers at each other in the clubhouse.
No, not at all. It's been very friendly between all the outfielders, especially. Oh, go ball, go! Sorry. Yeah, it's just been nice to meet a bunch of new guys, a bunch of new outfielders. Just learn as much as I can.
Well, Aaron, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate your time. Best of luck to you the rest of this spring.
All right, thank you.
You got it. That's Aaron Cunningham. 2 down here in the third inning. And Shin-Soo Choo coming to the plate. He flied to center field his first time up. And Choo takes a strike from Dylan Axelrod. I mentioned earlier Axelrod, the fact that he's just barely 6 feet tall is one reason why he was only a 30th round pick of the Padres back in 2007. So he's had to do it the hard way, and probably, I'm sure, Rick, as he's gone along, he's had a lot of detractors that have said, I don't know, probably a lot of guys haven't been high on him because of his size. But he has just continued to battle his way through.
I guess one we can compare it to Josh Tomlin. I mean, here in Cleveland, not a big guy for a right-hander. He goes up, but you got to find a way to compete. I mean, you don't have to throw 95 to get outs at the major league level. It's command, it's changing speeds, it's keeping guys off stride and doing the little things well. And I mean, it doesn't matter size. And a lot of times that's how they get up there, because they have to battle their whole life. Yes, he did.
He went around. Choo strikes out. Good strong inning for Axelrod. Indians go 1-2-3. He strikes out a pair. And after 3, it's Cleveland 1, Chicago 0.
There's the Skin Dog.
Joel Skinner, now with the Chicago White Sox, working at, what is it, AAA? Managing
Yeah,
Charlotte
he's managed
Knights?
Charlotte. That is correct. He was hired by the White Sox this offseason. Another guy in that dugout, a former manager of the Indians, is Jeff Torborg.
A lot of former Indians in that dugout. Jeff Manto is their hitting instructor, and you've got Harold Baines, who spent a little time in an Indians uniform. Justin Masterson has faced the minimum through the first 3 innings. The only base runner was a walk issued to Dan Johnson. He has struck out a pair. Good pitch for a called strike.
You know, he looks a lot more fluid than he did in his last start out here. It looks like he was rushing things his last start. His good sinker. He's staying behind the baseball. He's really throwing it pretty well today.
He muscled it by Diaz there. Strikes him out for the 2nd time today. 1 down.
I mean, look, he's staying behind the baseball, and he looks much more relaxed and fluid than he did his last start. Maybe rushing a little bit more, but that's what spring training is all about. But by far, this is the best he has thrown the baseball. You can see he hasn't allowed a hit in his 3 1/3, 3 punch outs. Manny Actor's got to be pleased.
A.J. Pierzynski fly to center his first time up. Just foul up the first base side. One thing that you can usually count on with Pierzynski is putting the ball in play. He doesn't strike out very often.
No, sirree.
2 down. Justin Masterson started the game off with a strikeout.
There's a good second fastball. He just runs it away. There's another one on the outside corner. Didn't like the call. But there's one. Oh, that's a tough one right there. That's almost like a cutter, but that's in on his fist. His ball moves so much. You know, sometimes he gets on top of it. It'll take off. It'll sail. It'll cut. I mean, he's a big right-hander, and that ball goes every which way. And he will throw occasional sliders, as he did on that last pitch. You know, we'll see starts, and he talked to us about that when we had him in the dugout. He went a start last year where he threw 1 slide.
It was against these guys.
It was against the White. I mean, but he was dominating. You had such an outstanding fastball. And then there may be times where you go out there, you'd like to see him change speeds or maybe throw that change up or take something off. But it varies. He says there's times you go out there, you don't know what you have and what's going on. You got to go work with what you have that day. That's where a good catcher comes into play, to help you out calling the game against the hitters you're having to face that day with the stuff that you have.
Well, and the catcher can tell, hey, they're not catching up to it, or they're not reacting well to it, so just keep throwing it until they show you that they can.
Well, they're not reacting to his stuff today.
Alex Rios goes down hacking. Another 1, 2, 3 inning for Masterson. He's fanned 4 in 4 innings of work. Indians with a 1-0 lead, bottom of the 4th inning here in Goodyear. And Chicago goes to their bullpen for the first time today. Right-hander Zach Stewart, pitched last year with the Blue Jays and the White Sox. Made 11 starts, 2 up, 6 down, 5.88 ERA. Struck out 45 in his 67 innings of work. He'll be facing Carlos Santana, Shelley Duncan, and Russ Kanzler here in the home half of the 4th. 1-0 Cleveland is our score. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning. And now we're joined by Ubaldo Jimenez down in the Indians dugout. Ubaldo, welcome. How are you today?
Hi, guys. I'm doing good. Just enjoying the beautiful day today.
Carlos Santana leading off and looks at a pitch up and away for ball 1. How's your spring gone so far? I know in terms of statistics, it's nothing really to get excited about, but I'm sure you're not really worried about numbers right now.
Of course not. This is spring training. We're just here to get ready for the season. But I feel good. My arm is getting in shape. My body is already in shape. So I'm really happy how everything is going.
Well, you told us last year that you came and you had a few injuries in spring training and you tried to pitch through it. You ended up hurting your groin. Your goal now, let's get through spring training and get ready for the season. But you're going to be fresh and new this year, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year was really difficult for me. Like it was the first time I've been hurt in the major league, so it was a really new experience for me. So this year I feel really good. I'm 100%. I'm ready to go.
Seemed like from what we've seen so far, your fastball has good life on it, good velocity. Are you pleased with where that's at right now for you?
Yeah, I am, because you know, it's still early in spring training, and my velocity is there. I mean, it's not where it's supposed to be, but it's really early in spring training. So that's pretty much like as the day goes by, it's gonna get better and better.
Now, Ryan Spilborghs told us the other day that he said to you before, man, just throw your fastball. Don't even worry about all those other pitches because they can't hit your fastball most of the time anyway.
Yeah, I remember that. He always on me about throwing my fastball.
Well, tell him, you know, he's not on the mound, man. There's sometimes these hitters like the fastball.
I know, especially he's a hitter. He's always gonna be looking for the fastball.
That's right.
Hey, Ubaldo, what, if anything, did you learn about the American League last year? I mean, you spent your whole career with the Rockies until the trade in the middle of last season. So, you know, what did you learn about pitching in the American League?
Well, I think pretty much it's basically the same. You have to try to pitch ahead in the count. Well, the thing is, like in the American League, they're really aggressive. Like if you fight behind the count, they're gonna be on you. It doesn't matter if you have a 3-0 count; they're gonna be swinging right away.
Yeah, and plus you have the DH. You don't get, you know, let's say 1 inning where you have to face the pitcher throughout the course of a ball game.
Yeah, that's another thing.
3-2 to Santana, jolted toward the gap in left center. That's down. It'll go to the wall. And Santana into second base with a leadoff double.
Well, he put a very good swing, and it was a great at bat by Carlos here, where he's going to stay on the baseball and take it to left center field. And he gets that ball down in his hitting area, out over the plate, lets him extend the arms, and drives that ball to left center field. And Carlos can be a double machine. That's what you want to see him do this year from that side of the plate, is go to left center field a little bit more.
And that's going to bring up Shelley Duncan. Indians lead 1-0, trying to add to it. Duncan popped up his first time to the plate. And he got decked.
Whoa.
Pitch up and in.
Hello.
Take another look at that on our replay.
Yeah, they want it down and away, and this one gives him a little, looks like it shaved his beard a little bit. Got really close. Ubaldo, there was talks about now that you feel like a new man over here, that you're really accepting the Indians organization, and it feels very good to you.
Yeah, I am. Like I told everyone before that I mean, as soon as I got to this team, I felt like home, because the way everybody treated me, especially the guys in the clubhouse, they really treated me really good. They made me feel like their family. So I feel like I've been here for a long time.
When you look at this starting rotation, the addition of Derek Lowe, of course, you've got Justin Masterson, who's pitching today. You've got Josh Tomlin, and of course, there's a battle for that 5th spot in the rotation. How good do you think this rotation can be?
Well, I think we have a lot of talent in the rotation. I mean, there's nothing we can ask like for another rotation. All the guys that I think everybody's capable of just going out there every single night and give the team a chance to win.
Well, everybody feeds off each other, and I'll tell you what, this afternoon, Justin Masterson's throwing the ball really well.
Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah.
He looks he's ready for the season.
He's free and easy today, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Now, you've got to get back into that spot, but you'll feed off him after a start, and hopefully Lowe and Tama will feed off you after a start, and there's friendly competition amongst you guys.
Yeah, you never want to stay back. You're going to be there right with the guys in front of you, so trying to do good for the team, too.
Well, obviously, that's going to be a big key for the Indians. I think any team, you know, you start, when you put your team together, your starting pitching has to be good. You might have a great hitting lineup, but as Kansas City found out a year ago, you've got to have some starting pitching because you can't expect to score 8 runs every game. Kinsler with a base hit into left field. It's misplayed by Viciedo, and Santana will score without a throw. Kinsler scampers into second. That'll be a hit and an error, and the Indians lead it 2-0.
Well, I will say this. Russ Kinsler can swing the bat. He's got a nice short stroke, and he has proven he can swing it. They want to pitch away. Stewart gets that pitch up in the strike zone. He jumps all over it. Drilled it to left field. And that ball is booted out there because Santana was going to stop, and then he's got to start back up again. But they end up getting the run in. It's a 2-0 ball game. The Indians will take the lead.
Ubaldo, I know you weren't here the entire season last year, but Carlos Santana is obviously a very young player who was moved to the catching spot, so he's still learning how to catch. You've got Lou Marson. Just talk about those two and what they bring to the pitching staff.
Well, like you said, Carlos, he used to play another position before, but he's learning a lot. I mean, even when I was in Colorado, I used to see him like every time, like the games, and he's getting better and better every day. And then for Lou Marson, I mean, that guy, he's really smart behind it. So you want to catch it like that. I mean, he always gonna be trying to do everything to help you out there.
Jack Canahan grounded out his first time up.
They feel, and the Indians, as we did last year, this is going to be a team where it's going to be pitching, revolves around the team. So you guys set it up for that bullpen, and if you can give them 6 and 7 innings, you've got a very good bullpen to hand the ball off to.
Yes, we do. I think every guy, they're going to be ready for any position, any role that they have to be in. So we trust them a lot.
Yeah, that's got to be great as a starter to know that when you hand it over to that bullpen, there's a real good chance they're going to lock it down for you.
Yeah.
Swung on and missed by Jack Hanna. Ubaldo, thanks so much for stopping by. We appreciate your time. Best of luck to you this year.
Okay, thank you, guys.
You got it. That's Ubaldo Jimenez, Indian starting pitcher, who will fit in nicely right behind Justin Masterson in the starting rotation and in front of Derek Lowe. 2-2. Hit toward left field. Viciedo frozen his tracks, reached up and just did snare it. And that's out number 2.
A little casual, wasn't it?
I don't think he thought that ball had as much mustard on it as it did.
Well, one thing out in Arizona, the ball's going to carry. It gets out there in a hurry. It comes down in a hurry. But the bottom line, I don't care if it looked casual or not, is to make the play. And he certainly did.
So with 2 down, and Kinsler at second base, Ryan Spilborghs, who had a 2-out RBI double his first time up.
In defense to everybody down here, when you're training in Arizona, the fields are a little quicker on the infield. The sun in the sky is a little brighter, and it's usually windy, and the ball carries. So it's a tough place to play defense down here. And it's also, when you're a pitcher with the dry air, it's tough to get moisture on your fingers, so you don't see the breaking balls. It's a little tougher. No humidity.
This is Spilborghs' last time up.
Nice swing. Ball coming inside. Did you see what Ubaldo said after he said, Spilborghs, just throw the fastball? Yeah, right. You throw the fastball. Those guys can hit the fastball at the major league level sometimes.
Grounded foul. Now the set by Zach Stewart. And the 2-strike pitch. Fouled back. Rick, is that common, among players? Ryan Spilborghs is an outfielder, but if you've got an opinion, you'll go tell the starting pitcher, hey, man, just throw your fastball more often.
But you know what? No, he's telling him because he played with him in Colorado, and he knows. He watched when he went through that 15-1 start. And obviously he was throwing 97, but the control must have been impeccable. But yeah, I mean, as a hitter, you're going to say, don't forget to throw your fastball. Sometimes pitchers have a tendency to fall into habits where they fall in love with a breaking ball or a changeup, or sometimes catchers will call pitches that they can't hit and, get a pitcher out of rhythm. So yeah, as a hitter, you may go and tell that guy, don't forget about your fastball.
Base hit to left by Spilborghs, scores Kanzler, 3-0 Cleveland. And twice today, Spilborghs has delivered with a 2-out RBI hit.
And twice today, he's driven in Kanzler. I'll tell you what, those two guys hit machine. Another good at bat. This time he got the breaking ball. That was middle of the plate instead of going inside out. Because of the breaking ball, he turned on it and found the hole between short and third. So the Indians with a pair of runs in the inning and 3 hits. Make it a 3-zip ball game.
And on the throw, Ryan Spilborghs gets into scoring position. So he just traded places. And now Jason Donald with 2 outs and a chance to drive in a run takes a strike, fly to center, his first time up. Zach Stewart from Wichita Falls, Texas. Delivers up high. Started his career with the Cincinnati Reds. They made him a 3rd-round pick initially. Fouled back, but then he went to Toronto along with Edwin Encarnacion in exchange for Scott Rowland a year after he was drafted. And then 2 years later, traded to Toronto with Jason Frazier. Or I should say traded to Chicago with Jason Frazier from Toronto in exchange for Edwin Jackson and Mark Teahan. Fouled out of play. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled back out of play again. Three runs on 6 hits for the Indians. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Zach Stewart deals. Bounce to 3rd. And that will end the inning as Donald went down hard. Johnson had a tough time getting out of the way when he came down with the throw, but everybody appears to be all right. Indians get 2 here in the 4th. They made it 3-0. Cleveland Indians Spring Training Baseball is brought to you by Taco Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good. Fifth inning here in Goodyear. Cleveland leading Chicago by a score of 3-0. Justin Masterson 4 no-hit innings. And his day is over. He walked 1, struck out 4. Frank Herman coming on now, fighting for one of those 2 spots open in the Indians bullpen. The strength of his season a year ago was built off of being the long man, being able to suck up multiple innings in various situations, keeping the team in the game, giving them a chance to rally back and win games. He had 4 victories a season ago. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, joined now by Joe Smith down in the Indians bullpen.
Talking to our center fielder today.
Yeah, buddy.
You got that.
What's going on?
How you doing today, man?
Oh, not too bad.
Rick was wondering why you didn't catch that line drive off the facing of the dugout earlier.
Oh, I didn't even see it. I was turned around, so fortunately it didn't hit me in the head.
Well, we did the game the other day, and Lonnie Chisnall playing third base, and you know that ball hit up in there between short and third. And I mean, tell him you called for it, and it should have been your ball, right?
Well, yeah, I called for it. I mean, you never know. It's a high sky. You got the sun. It went through the sun up in the air, and he's playing back with, you know, it's Paul Bacco, I think, was at the plate. So, you know, you never know if he's going to have to catch it on the run, or I was pretty much camped, so I just figured I'd call it. And
they don't realize that you're one of the athletes that can catch out on the mound, right?
I mean, you know, I thought I helped myself a little bit last year by catching a few
that
balls.
one in Oakland. The play you made in Oakland was the best I've seen.
I thought I'd get a little respect, but I guess not.
High drop base hit into left field by Kosuke Fukudome. White Sox get their first hit in the game. So has it been pretty much business as usual for you this spring? I mean, it must be nice for one thing to just, you know, keep yourself healthy and not have to worry about what you went through last year.
Yeah, it's nice to come into a spring and feel good and get to work on a few things and just get back into the flow and get ready to go in April. That's for sure. When you got to deal with an injury early in the year, early in camp, it's you know, it's stressful because you're already, you know, you're behind and everything, and then when you come back, you're in live games.
Well, that's pretty much how your role went last year, isn't it? Tell us, explain a little bit to the people. I mean, you were injured in spring training. You came back, and then you ended up in your role.
Yeah. You know, I got hurt, I think it was like March 11th, and I didn't get back. I missed about 15 days during the season, and, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, Sip and Pastana were just throwing the crap out of the ball, and, of course, CP's in the 9th, so that locked up pretty much the 7th and 8th. Rafi was doing an unbelievable job, and the only place for me to throw was kind of if we were behind a lot or up a lot. So it was an easier transition that way, I think, for me, just getting back on the mound, just having to worry about throw strikes, you know, not trying to trick anybody, just get my location down, get some quick outs, get us back in the dugout, whether we were up or down. And it actually, you know, made me realize I can pitch more of my fastball and get quick ground ball outs. And, you know, I kind of just took that plan and rode it all the way through the year and just tried to throw the ball over the plate and let the movement work for me.
Well, what changed for you last year? Because, I mean, the knock on Joe Smith is, well, yeah, good pitcher, can't get left-handers out.
I think that knock just comes along when you throw a sidearm. I mean, when I first got brought to the big leagues, I threw sidearm, and I guess they thought, since I came up rather quickly, they thought the easiest transition for me is to just face right-handed hitters. So that's basically what I did. And when you face a lefty once a week, you know, you just get a different feeling. I'm not used to throwing, you know, a backdoor slider or you know, staring at the guy's hip to throw a comeback sinker. You know, it's just a different visual for me, and I was never real comfortable. And then, of course, if you give up a hit, it's like, oh, well, he gave up a hit to a lefty. And, you know,
well, yeah, it's magnified.
See, told you. Yeah,
but, you know, you pitched him inside a little bit more last year, didn't you? It seemed like you would rush that sinker in on their hands, man, and then it'll open up the outside of the plate. You pretty much did whatever you wanted to him last year. Only a 152 average.
That ain't bad. I got that opportunity, though, you know, when I was coming back, and because our bullpen was doing so well, and where I was pitching, you know, Manny would just throw me out there for an inning, and he basically would just leave me out there because I had to get my work in and catch up to everybody else. So then, in turn, I got to face lefties, and then I proved I could get them out. So you know, in situations, if it was, you know, obviously big situations, you know, we're bringing in Sip or Rafi. We know how the matchup game goes. But, you know, for the most part, I think I was able to consistently get them out and show them, hey, I can pitch an inning. You know, if it's not a, you know, if it's not a huge situation or we got to save a lefty's arm that day or something, you know, I can throw an inning.
Well, you mentioned when we talked earlier this spring how the injury to you last year was a, quote, blessing in disguise. And while you never want to have to go through that, it's funny, if you make the most of it, you make the best of a bad situation, it can turn out really good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, our bullpen's lights out, and you know, I'm not worried about my role. I just want to pitch. We got a great pen. I think we got a really good starting rotation. We're going to hit the ball. We're going to win this year, and it's going to be exciting and fun.
You know, Joe, we talked to Vinny the other day, and he says that's something he wants to do is work on getting left-handers out because they had a little success. He buries right-handers, and has he talked to you at all about how maybe to go about it, or just sat down in brief conversation and just talked about it?
Yeah, a little bit. He's asked me questions here or there. You know, I don't think he's going to have any problem. You know, I was kind of surprised when he actually told me that, like, during the season. He's like, man, I punch out all these righties. I can't punch out any lefties.
Yeah, right.
Really? Like, all right. But, you know, he's a fastball. He throws his fastball. He throws his fastball a lot. I think you might see a few more sliders out of him. And he's getting a pretty good feel of that already in spring training. I've seen him backdoor a few lefties. So I think that's going to be a big pitch for him.
Good. That's good. I mean, you have to learn. He was coming out just trying to make the team last year, and he ended up setting up and did a terrific job. But the whole bullpen did a great job, man. It was fun to watch. And when you get into games like this is how you want to play. Take a lead early, give Masterson some runs, and turn it over to the Mafia.
Yeah, you got to love it, man. No, when Vinny came in for us, I mean, him doing what he did, I think, helped our bullpen. I mean, you can't tell how much it helped our bullpen, you know, but, you know, because he could shut down that 8th inning, whether, you know, yeah, okay, he struggled a tiny bit with lefties, but, you know, if the right-hander was coming up there, they weren't getting on base. Then you got Sip to take care of the lefties. I mean, that's the 8th inning. You make, if our starter goes 6 innings and we got a lead, we feel very confident in coming out of that game with a W.
Well, you talk about that vernacular, shorten the ball game.
Yeah,
that's how you do it.
Yeah, that was our plan, and you know, fortunately, we've been able to keep the same group down there, and you know, we're all pretty tight over there, so it works out good. Everybody's rooting for one another, and we just want to pitch, get outs, and get W's, and go on to the next game.
Well, that's what they say. If you want to have a good offense, you better have a good bullpen. Because if you get one run in that 6th or 7th inning, then you slam the door. That's all you need.
Yeah, I think we're going to rake this year too, by the way.
Well, I hope you're right. I mean, it's nice to play from in front with this team.
Yeah.
Up the middle, it gets through. Fukudome stops at second. 2 on, 2 out. Well, Joe, it just seems, you know, everybody has a little bit of an ego. But that bullpen doesn't seem to be filled with inflated egos. It just seems like you guys all, A, get along, and B, you're pulling for each other. It's not an act. It's real.
No, it definitely is real. We are pulling for each other. It doesn't matter, you know, everybody down there.
I'm horrible. Mainly, he had me pull out the old rusty nails out of the scrap wood. You know what? Oh, I ripped my hand open at about the age of 10. I got over it. Cowboy up, dude. My dad worked so hard, he was always tired. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. He would make the donuts first thing, and he actually
two that day, and it should have been a 3-run save. You know, that's a tough situation for CP. You know, we got to do our job early, so make his job a little bit more easier.
2 on, 2 out. 2-1 pitch to Dan Johnson.
Oh, did he go?
No,
he didn't go.
Yeah, third base on.
I was. He didn't go. I was. I gave the no sign. They saw it.
Did we lose? We must have lost it up.
No, we only started with 3 today. That's all we need.
Bad info, huh? They listed
Talk to
4.
Jack Efton.
Well, there you
That's Jack having a bad day in the office.
He's a little overworked in the press box. 3-1 pitch hammered by Jelly Duncan down the line. That's going to get a run home. Fukudome scores. Morrell into third. They're going to wave him. Kipnis with the throw to the plate, and he is a dead duck. That'll end the inning. Joe Smith, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the time, pal.
All right, guys.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
White Sox get on the board, but the Indians lead it 3-1, middle of the 5th.
We're talking utilities in Northeast Ohio. Let's talk Ford.
I drive east side, west side, in between, back and forth.
While still getting great fuel economy.
Three-1 Indians, bottom of the 5th inning. They were going to try to score a pair. Were the Chicago White Sox.
Well, Chu gets over there and gets that ball in a hurry. And the relay is just 2 perfect throws. I'm sorry, Spilborghs. Spilborghs gets it on the relay. Kipnis right there. And Santana could have a cup of coffee. What happened, he did a nice job of getting that ball before it came off the wall. If it hits the wall, then he's going to be able to score. It doesn't hit the wall. Nice job to cut it off. Good play, good relay. Ends the inning.
Michael Brantley 0 for 2, flying to right in the first. Struck out his last time up in the third. And Zach Stewart fires it in there for a strike. It's 1-1. Brantley with a ground ball to short. And that's out number 1.
Well, opening day is sold out, but you can still secure your seats with all the excitement with an Indian season ticket package. Best seats and the best prices, including opening day, and still available, so don't miss the last minute of action. Call 216-420-HITS.
Bunt attempt by Kipnis back to the screen, fouled off.
I want to send along some get well wishes to my good friend back in Jesselyn, Tony Ambrose. Tony, get well soon, big boy. Get ready for opening day. We'll be home shortly.
Kipnis singled in the first. Stole a base that inning as well. And wound up stranded at third. You were when we were showing that replay of the Indians' great defensive effort to end the inning. You mentioned Chu out in right field, but Ryan Spilborgh's actually in right field. Chu DHing today. That's just.
I thought it was Chu Spilborghs.
Yeah, just trying to get him some at bats, but Shin-Soo Choo serving as the DH today reminded me of something that I saw in the offseason. The Indians last year had 15 players that were used in the DH spot at one time or another.
Wow. Seems like a lot.
Yeah. You know who led the league with the most players used in the DH spot?
Let me think about this. Could have been the White Sox.
The Chicago White Sox. They were actually tied with the Minnesota Twins. They both had 17 different players.
Yeah, that's a lot when you
spot.
start getting into the teens. No question.
Chicago surprised me. Minnesota did not. Chicago surprised me.
Well, it didn't surprise you because Adam Dunn had the worst year of his life, and he was going to be the DH for a while. And, you know, I can see Konerko because they'd share and they'd flip-flop. There's two guys that you would use, but 17, that's hard to believe.
Now, of course, the Indians, their issues arose out of the injury to Travis Hafner. But you had Shelley Duncan, Jim Thome, of course, when he was acquired.
Right.
Grady DH'd a number of times. Matt Laporta, Travis Buck had a few games at the DH spot. And then you also had some guys like Lou Marson, Cord Phelps, Adam
Lou
Everett.
Marson was the DH?
Well,
were we trying?
Some guys appeared at the DH spot. You know, sometimes they wouldn't necessarily start there, but if you had a switch late in the game.
Well, that's true.
Chu is out looking.
Wow, he breezed through that.
Boy, after having a rough fourth inning, Stewart comes right back and sets him down in order.
Baseball is brought to you by Taco Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good.
They're going to the sixth inning here in Goodyear. Indians with a 3-1 lead over Chicago. Dan Wheeler will now come on to pitch for the Indians. Dan Wheeler, 47 games last year with Boston. And Wheeler coming in trying to win a spot in the Indians bullpen this spring. One of those two spots remaining open. We talked about Frank Herman, Dan Wheeler, a couple of the guys who were competing.
Well, Dan's got to come on and he's got to start turning it around. You see Carlin now behind the plate. Of course, Wheeler, a veteran, and he's been part of some very good bullpens. But he hasn't thrown the ball all that well to this point in the spring. So now it's time for he's going to have to kick it into gear now. You know, anytime you're looking, you know, there's not many spots available. So when given the opportunity, you certainly have to do well.
Well, and now he'll be facing Gordon Beckham, Alejandro Diaza, and A.J. Pierzynski. Well, we're happy to be joined this half inning by Father Bob Steck, who is here to talk to us about a very special charity called Mission Possible. Is that correct, Father?
That's correct, Matt. It's a mission outreach that we have in the Dominican Republic. So many of the baseball players, even for the Cleveland Indians, come from the Dominican, that we've been trying to provide housing and water and some of the basic essentials of life for the people in the Dominican.
Well, we also understand that both Larry and Eva Dolan are also very involved in this worthwhile charity.
Oh, very, very much so. Mrs. Dolan herself has actually gone on the mission trip a number of times and does great work with, especially with the young children. One of the best pictures that we have from the Dominican is with Mrs. Dolan actually playing concentration with the cards with the young people.
That is beautiful. And tonight we understand you're going to have dinner with Manny Acta, who's going to be a part of this as well. And he comes from the Dominican Republic.
He does. He actually has a foundation that does great outreach. It's called Impact the Kids.
Right.
And so the event that we're actually doing is partnering with him to try to raise money for his outreach to his hometown in San Pedro.
And the big event is, as you take a look at both Larry and his wife Eva Dolan, who are in attendance today here in Goodyear. The big event will take part right before opening day. Let's call it opening day eve. It's a new holiday.
It's the eve before opening day. It's called the Grand Slam Gala. And it's, you talk about the magic of Progressive Field on the night before the home opener. And so we look to bring a lot of people together to do some good things.
And it's titled the Grand Slam Gala. And for more information, you can log on to missionimpossible.us.
No, Mission Possible.
Mission
you
Possible.
like the TV show. It's Mission Possible, not impossible.
Right, because we're going to make the mission outreach possible.
Dun 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 dun.
There you go.
Missionpossible.us.
.us.
.us.
And can folks buy tickets on the website as well
Sure,
for the event?
If you go to the website, you can do a couple things. You can learn about the good work that we're trying to do. Again, the people that we're taking care of, they're predominantly Haitian refugees that have migrated into the Dominican. We're providing basic housing, which is, for them, it's about an 18 by 22 house with a tin roof. So the hope is to raise some money so that we can pull people off the river and get a family of 6 will live in that house, 18 by 22. So
it's amazing, isn't it?
It's shocking. It's distressing, actually. So we've been able to do a lot of good work, and the hope is that this gala will have great food and lots of silent auction, raffle type of things, and bring together. Manny Acta is going to be there. Some of the players are going to be there. Slider's going to be there. It should overall be just a great evening. And again, how can you beat the mystique, if you will, of the night before opening day?
Yeah, it sounds like a great venue and a great way to kick off the baseball season.
Well, I'm sure they're going to raise a lot of money. It'll go to a very good cause. I played in 1974, spent winter ball in the Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo, and I lived in one of their better hotels, and believe me, I was going to start raising money for those too back then. But it's very stressful down there with Haiti being the other part of the island. Right. A mountain divides the two. So a lot of the refugees left Haiti and into the Dominican Republic looking for places to live. And
the analogy that I like to use, it's like if you could imagine a sponge that you use in your kitchen that's already saturated with water, and you try to absorb more water.
Right. So
the Dominican is already very poor, and the people that are migrating in from Haiti, they just have no ability to absorb more poor people. And plus, there's a great love for baseball in the country, and so in some ways it makes a very nice natural connection. Major League Baseball has done a phenomenal job of trying to help the poor people in the Dominican. They have grants, and we're hoping, one of the things that we hope to do with some of the proceeds of this is put a ball field in. One of the great problems, so the community that we're helping has about 65 families right now. We hope to build another 100 homes. That's another 100 families. Those 65 families total up to be about 400 people, so you can start doing the math there. And the kids, they don't have constructive things to do with their spare time. So in the absence of having good things to do, they get into trouble. So we're hoping to build a very simple ball diamond for them, so that they have a place to play and they can do things together, teaching them good social skills too.
Well, that certainly is an island that loves their baseball, because that's one thing they do a lot of down there. A lot of Dominican players here in the United States.
We've been down there just a number of times, and any place we go in the last couple of years, all you have to do is mention Manny Acta and they light up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
When you talk about a legend across the whole island, I mean, you mention Manny Acta, they light up.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly want to wish you the best of luck with Mission Possible, which is part of the Grand Slam Gala, which will be held the night before opening day at Progressive Field. You can log on to missionpossible.us All the information is there in order to buy tickets. Oh, A.J. Pierzynski has just left the yard.
Right on top of it, on the yellow line, and it did bounce back. It's a home run.
Solo home run for Pierzynski. It's the White Sox a run closer. It's now a 3-2 ball game. For A.J. Pierzynski, it's his first home run on the spring. Gives him 3 runs batted in. But Father Bob Steck, want to wish you the best of luck with the event, and
good luck, Father.
We hope that will give us a good start to the home season, and we hope that season will go well into October baseball this year.
Certainly hope so.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right,
guys.
thank you.
Father Bob Steck with us here today, and again, you can log on to missionpossible.us to get your tickets for the Grand Slam Gala the night before opening day in Cleveland. Now Alex Rios ropes one into the left field corner, and he's on his way to second base with a 2-out double. Dan Wheeler had the first 2 outs here in the inning. Looked like he was headed for a 1-2-3 inning.
Well, right there, and then he throws one down and in, and that's like the nitro zone. That one was a flat little slider, it looked like. Don't know if he wanted that to go down and away or a backdoor slider, but he left it up and he got out of here. Stayed up enough. 3-2 ball game, and Rios gets the double, so tying run in scoring position.
And now Fukudome 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. Outside corner, a called strike. Right back to the screen. And the count 0-2. Wheeler ready, and the 0-2 too high.
I will.
Rios, the runner at second base with 2 down, and the 1-2 delivery. Breaking ball in the dirt. Carlin blocks it. He no throw to third as Rios gets in there sliding safely. Tying run to third.
Well, Luke does a job trying to just smother it with his chest protector, but it deflected off and got away enough where Rios can get into third base. Try and deaden that ball and just keep it out in front of you as a catcher. Easier said than done.
Hits away from Carlin, and now the tying run will score.
I want to take a look at this again. It almost looks like Carlin thought this ball was going to be in the dirt, and I don't know if it got to the dirt. And it deflected off the heel of the glove. That's what it looked like to me. See, he's going down, and either that or he's crossed up. I'll bet he was crossed up. He put down one sign and he was looking for one pitch and got another one. Although he did not go out and talk to him after that point, but that's what it looked like to me, a little cross up.
Yeah, it sure did have the appearance that he wasn't quite sure. You know, quarterbacks have been known to call a play and then get to the line of scrimmage.
Forget the
place, the snap count.
I was going to say, I'm sure catchers that may happen, but I would think usually when you put it down, you want to know what's coming. You're going to remember. But you know, it's spring training. Here's a guy that they've never caught each other before, or you know, he's never been able to catch Dan Wheeler. So in a game.
3-2 the count with 2 down.
But that goes to show you the importance of knowing what's coming from a pitcher when you're a catcher, because a tying run just scored on it was probably a pass ball because that ball didn't hit the dirt.
Wild pitch got him to third. Pass ball got him home.
And all this with 2 outs and nobody was on.
And now a walk. So the inning stays alive for Alexei Ramirez. Caught the outside corner with a fastball. Now, Alexei Ramirez had his struggles a year ago offensively. He wound up with career highs in doubles. Games played, at bats, walks. Swing and a miss. And it's 0-2 the count. You may remember it was Ramirez who hit into the triple play in Cleveland on April 3rd. Yeah. He was the first White Sox player to hit into a triple play since 1978.
Who was the guy in 78?
Well, they don't list it here.
Okay. I'm going to say Eric Soderholm. Tough to find out.
We'll take your word for it.
Well, it wasn't against us. I'm just throwing that out there.
Runner goes, pitch out. They got him. Carlin's throw down. And Fukudome is out to end the inning. White Sox get a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. We're all tied at 3. Now we welcome you back into Goodyear on a warm day here in the desert. It's a 3-3 ball game now after the White Sox have rallied from a 3-0 deficit to tie it up. John Marinez now coming on to pitch for Chicago. He'll be facing Luke Carlin, Shelley Duncan, and Russ Kanzler. Luke Carlin on the spring and is 1 for 4 at the plate. Outside for ball 1. Carlin smacks it into center field. A base hit.
Well, on March 24th, he can come down to Progressive Field. Indian season ticket select a seat event. You can test drive the best seats in the house and get a sneak peek of the newly renovated club lounge. Call 216-420-HITS. Come between 10 and 2 and check it out.
Marinez came to the White Sox from the Florida Marlins as part of the compensation for Ozzie Guillen leaving Chicago to become the new manager for the Miami Marlins.
That's like a trivia question. I mean, you know, player getting traded for a manager. Who was the guy that went from Oakland to Pittsburgh?
Chuck Tanner.
Okay, who was the player?
Was it Manny Sanguillen?
You got it. Yeah. All right. You only know because it was the Pirates. If it's not the Pirates or Steelers, you wouldn't know.
Well, Chuck Tanner was a prince of a human being, and I know you know that.
No question about it. You know, when I first came to the big leagues, no, that's going foul.
Long foul ball off the bat of Shelley Duncan. Wow.
Chuck Tanner was the manager of the White Sox.
That's right. Right before Tony La Russa, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, way before Tony, and then Kessinger. There were some other guys before Tony, but back when I came up, yeah, Chuck was the manager of the White Sox, and he went to Oakland, and of course Pittsburgh and Milwaukee, wherever. And he had, let me think, Rich Gossage in the as a starting pitcher back then, and Terry Forrester. These guys ended up being great relievers.
Duncan with a drive to deep center. Diaza back, looking up.
It's a home run.
And it is gone. It is just above the yellow line for a 2-run homer.
Boy, I'll say.
Shelley Duncan to straightaway center field puts the Indians back on top. His 3rd home run of the spring. And he now has 10 runs batted in.
Well, he earned that one. That was in the biggest part of the ball yard. And I mean, you're going to see it just take off. There's one right down the middle. He stayed on that baseball, and it got up probably 10 feet above that line, above the 410 mark. So he hit it a ton. So back come the Indians, and they answer with 2 runs after the White Sox just put 2 on the top half of the inning.
Now, if you missed it when we visited with Shelley the other day, this is just a guy who is very popular in that clubhouse, and not just because they like it. It has a lot to do with his ability, but it's the way he goes about his ability, the way he goes about his job, and the way he grinds it out. Gives, as you said, everything he has, you're going to get it. Russ Kanzler has swung the bat very well today. 2 for 2, 2 singles, 2 runs scored. And that gives him now 9 hits and 21 at bats on the spring. That is red hot. Broke his bat this time. And Ramirez throws him out 1 away. Sports Time Ohio is your home for the Ohio High School Athletic Association, and Saturday it's the girls high school hoops championships. All 4 divisional championship games live and in high definition. Who will be crowned champion? You'll find out Saturday morning starting at 10:30 a.m. For a complete listing of all the games, visit STOHD.com.
You know, if you watch our telecast during the year,
Ramirez scoops it up to throw out Hanahan.
You ask a question, and sooner or later you're going to get the answer. But go ahead, give the recap first.
Well, Ryan Spilborghs had two-out RBI knocks early on, helping the Indians to a 3-0 lead before Chicago would rally back. And now Shelley Duncan with the 2-run homer puts the Tribe back in front, 5-3. You were saying?
Well, you had mentioned the last time that you were talking about Ramirez hitting into the triple play, and you go back to 1978, the last guy to do that. But of course, Mike comes up with the name. It was Junior Moore. I wasn't even close. I don't even remember Junior Moore, but that's who it was.
How about that?
It doesn't take Mr. Proctor long to figure it out.
Pitch outside to Ryan Spilborghs. 2 for 2 ribbies, as we just mentioned.
After today's game, he's going to head up north to the Red Rock in Sedona and spend a couple days.
Redbird will.
Redbird's going to fly to the Red Rock.
Right.
And drink some Rolling Rock.
A well-deserved couple of days off. He's had to deal with some. He's had to deal with some off-the-wall personalities this week. Let's just put it that way.
You think?
Spilborghs draws a walk, and the inning stays alive for Jason Donald. Rick, there's the old saying in a lot of different sports, not just baseball, but teams take on the personality of their leader, their manager, their coach, depending on what sport you're talking about. The White Sox have new leadership now in Chicago. Gone is the mercurial Ozzie Guillen, and Robin Ventura, who's never managed, will take over in that White Sox dugout. How do you think that will impact or change the White Sox on the field?
Well, it's already a more laid-back environment because Ozzie's not there, and Ozzie, it's just a matter of time. The ticking, until the ticking blows up. But Robin Ventura, he's a baseball guy. He spent 12 years, in the big leagues. He knows what's going on there. You'll see some additions and some people that are no longer with him, and some changes that Kenny Williams wanted to make. They felt that Robin Ventura can be the guy to lead them. As a manager, he knows the game. He just doesn't have. You got to surround yourself with good people. He's got baseball people on his bench and in the organization. They're going to help him out. It's the talent. He's just got to find a way to get to the players. They have gone out and made trades throughout the course of the year. They went out and gave Adam Dunn $50 million. This guy's got to hit home runs. They paid him to hit. He's got to do it this year. The players that they paid, Alex Rios, that they picked up in trades, that's not a manager's fault. I mean, he's going to have to deal with some of the things that are going through. Like you said, he felt they were, changing and rebuilding and things like that. They're trying to rebuild, but you're not rebuilding. So that's a hard thing to do. You either commit or you don't.
Back-to-back walks, and all of a sudden, Mariñez is really scuffling, and that's going to bring out Robin Ventura. I don't know if Mariñez has run out of pitches, but I think he has.
Well, he has as far as Robin's concerned.
Yeah, I was going to say one way or the other. His day is over. So we've got a timeout in Goodyear. 2 on, 2 out. Tribe on top of the White Sox, 5-3. Back here in Goodyear, 5-3 Indians. We're in the 6th inning, tried with 2 on, 2 out. Michael Brantley coming to the plate. And the new Chicago pitcher is Leson Septimo. And he'll be facing Brantley, who is 0 for 3. Septimo's another one of those conversion guys. Started out as a position player in the Diamondbacks organization.
Well, wasn't their closer last year Sergio Santos?
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah.
He's now with Toronto, right?
He's now with Toronto, going to be their closer, but he was a position player that ended up pitching. There are a few of them around.
Here's a guy who, it's not like he couldn't hit. Septimo hit .254 in his career in the minor leagues. Was voted as having the best arm in the outfield in the Midwest League back in '06, courtesy of Baseball America. But being left-handed, you know, hey.
Well, and you know what? That's when a scout. That's when either a scout or a manager sees you and say your arm's going to be more valuable to us than your bat.
Well, Michael Brantley just short hopped the wall and left. That's going to bring home 2 more. And Brantley's first hit of the day extends the Indians' lead to 7-3. Scoring both Ryan Spilborghs and Jason Donald.
Yeah, and both those guys got on board because of walks. So Brantley took advantage of a big 2-out base hit going the other way, knowing he was going to get the fastball.
And great to see him do it against the left-hander.
Yeah. Over the head of Viciedo. Ball short off the wall, so it's a 4 spot here in the bottom half of the 6th for the Indians.
Jason Kipnis, the 8th man to bat in the inning. This guy has spent 8 years in the minor leagues.
Well, he's going to have to get it here pretty quickly. There's not many more you can spend down there without being a lifer and turning into a coach. That's a long time.
I beg your pardon, 9 years in the minor leagues, 5 as a position player, and then the last 4 as a pitcher. I mean, that's literally like starting all over again. That's out of play. (7-3) Indians. 7 runs, 9 hits for the Tribe. 3 runs, 5 hits for Chicago. Brantley at second base with 2 down. And that's strike 3 to end the inning. Tribe bounces back with a 4 spot. Shelley Duncan gets the Indians back on top with a 2-run blast. It's 7-3 Tribe. Seventh inning in Goodyear, 7-3 Cleveland. Right-hander Jeremy Accardo coming on to pitch now for the Indians. This is the 5th appearance this spring for Accardo. He's worked 4 innings. He has struck out 4, has not walked a batter, with an ERA of 2.25. Defensively, now for Cleveland, a couple of changes. Jose Lopez taking over for Shelley Duncan at first. Cord Phelps taking over for Jason Kipnis at second. And Ezekiel Carrera is now in center field for Michael Brantley. For Chicago, Alexei Ramirez, Diane Viciedo, and Brent Morel due up. Ramirez 0 for 2 today, has popped up, struck out. Accardo missing for ball 1. Well, even though Ozzie Guillen has left the Central Division, we won't have a summer of baseball without him in Cleveland.
That is true.
The Miami Marlins will be in Cleveland May 18th, 19th, and 20th. Fly ball to center for Carrera. 1 down. And that's an interesting situation because not only did they go out and get Ozzie Guillen, but they made some significant noise in the offseason. They were even courting Albert Pujols at one time.
Well, they spent some big free agent dollars.
Jose Reyes. They brought in Mark Burley.
Heath Bell, closer.
Yeah. Carlos Zambrano, I don't know. I suppose for them it's worth a roll of the dice to see.
Well, Ozzie's a psychologist, so they're fine. Could you have seen one of those meetings, the first blow up between those two? Who's going to come out of that padded room?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I admire Ozzie Guillen. He's got a lot of guts, and he's not afraid to speak what's on his mind. But if he gets in a fight with Zambrano, he's not going to come out of that looking too good.
That'll be fun, won't it? That's just a matter. You just have to wait. He's already been thrown out of a spring training game, you know, on a fair foul call.
Yeah.
So he's ready for the season.
Well, they've got a brand new palace that they're going to open down near the site of the old Orange Bowl.
Yeah, they will visit Cleveland, so we'll get a look at it.
New uniforms.
Well, the last time we were down in Florida, they weren't called Miami until this year. It seemed like we had rain delays every time we were there, didn't we?
Yeah. Which they think is a big reason that they'll draw better with the retractable roof.
They know they're going to play. There'll be no delays. They spent hours. Some of the best video going on is watching that put on the tarp down there at that old ballpark.
Those poor guys. Those poor guys.
When the wind blew up.
Fighting a losing cause every night.
Well, it was just it was some of the best video going.
Yeah. Brent Morel 1 for 2 with a single. 1 on, 1 out. And Accardo in with a strike. A little bit low. Called a strike to the count, 1-2. Too low. Accardo ready now with the 2-2.
Yes.
He checked, they appeal, he didn't go.
There's the side view of it, and he did not go. Able to check his swing.
Payoff pitch, runner holds, and it's chopped to short. Short hop by Donald. They get one there. The relay, not in time. Terrific effort by both Donald and Cord Phelps. They get the lead runner.
Well, he had to make that decision to come in and take that on a short hop. If he waits back, he'd be lucky to catch the ball, but that is not an easy play. So just to get one is very good. It came close to turning, and Phelps tried to get it over there, and just not enough time.
Dan Johnson has walked and doubled in a run today. He bats here with 2 down in the 7th.
Johnson might have had the biggest home run of the year last year for the Tampa Bay Rays. If you remember the last game of the year.
And as I mentioned earlier, he only hit a $119 last year.
It didn't matter.
So talk about an unlikely hero.
Tied the game up against the Yankees. Sent it to extra innings. He ended up winning, and Boston lost to Baltimore. Last inning, it was
Evan Longoria won it with a home run down the left field line. Johnson tied it with a home run to right.
Right in the 9th.
That was one of the best final days of the baseball season that I can ever remember.
Well, you remember Johnson with Oakland, and he's been around, but for them, you're right. It's not what he hit; it's when he hit it. They ended up going to the playoffs, although they were knocked out by the Rangers.
3-0 the count to Johnson. Gordon Beckham waiting on deck. In there for a strike. You know, last year Chicago was only 11-7 in interleague play. I only mention that because in the last 4 years they're 50-22.
Only 11-7. That's good. We
checked his swing, foul out of play. I mean, they've won 19 of their last 20 series in interleague play, including 10 in a row on the road.
Pretty good.
So that's the one thing where in the past, in the recent past, they may get off to a slow start, but they always seem to catch fire, and interleague play is usually the igniter for them.
It's turned a couple of their years around, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, after this year, there will be an interleague game all year round from the start of the season, because with Houston coming over to the American League, going into the AL West, it'll be a 15-15 split, and there will always be an interleague game or a series going on.
Which means it may be unlikely, but hypothetically, you could have a team in the last 3 days of the season fighting for a playoff spot or a division title and playing a team from the other league.
Yeah, it could. You would think so.
It could happen. That's outside. Threw it by him. Good pitch by Accardo. Too high. And Jeremy Accardo laboring a bit here. 2 balls and a strike with 2 down in this 7th inning. right back to the screen. Acta looking on here. Indians up 4. Chicago with 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch. Popped him up. Jason Donald calling for it. Shortstop squeezes it. Inning over. Stretch time in Goodyear. It's Cleveland 7, Chicago 3. (7-3) Indians, bottom of the 7th inning here in Goodyear. Another left-hander coming on now for the White Sox.
Donnie Veal.
Donnie Veal wearing number 46. McPherson taking over at first base. A.J. Przinsky still behind the plate.
Must be his day to catch 9.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get tomorrow off.
Donnie Veal is a local guy. Attended the University of Arizona and Pima Community College. And he is the cousin of former NBA guard and current mayor of Sacramento, California, Kevin Johnson. KJ's still pretty popular around these parts, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he is.
Veal misses up high for ball 1.
Is he the mayor of Sacramento now?
Yep. In there for a strike. Donnie Veal originally drafted by Chicago in 2005, then a Rule 5 pick of the Pirates. And now trying to make a go of it with the White Sox. Shin-Soo Choo 0 for 3 today, looks at a ball outside and draws a walk.
Well, opening day out at Progressive Field is not too far away, and it is sold out, but you can still secure your seats for all the excitement with an Indian season ticket package. The best seats at the best prices, including opening day, still available, so you don't want to miss a minute of the action. 216-420-HITS is the number to speak to a season ticket rep or log on to Indians.com today.
Switch hitter Luke Carlin stepping in now as you see Shin-Soo Choo getting high fives. His day is over. Fred Lewis now running at first base for Choo. Missed inside with that pitch. Two and one. Luke Carlin played 6 games with the Indians a season ago, went 5 for 14. Did a couple of home runs. Rope to left. That's extra bases potentially. Nope, he's going to be cut off by Viciedo. He misplays it. And Carlin will hold it first, but it allows Lewis to get to third. So the second time today, Viciedo has had a case of butterfingers in left field.
Well, I want to see if he maybe takes his eye off it a little too early, thinking the guy's going to go to third base. Not really. Did not. He just didn't field it cleanly. You know, normally on a base hit to left field, a runner should not be able to go first and third. It's a matter of just getting the ball, securing it, and getting it in, but he hasn't been able to do that twice today.
Jose Lopez gets his first at bat. Fouled right back. Lopez on the spring, hitting .467 with a homer. A couple of runs batted in. On 7 for 15. High fly ball left field. Viciedo back, looking up, it is gone. Clearing the bullpen onto the berm in Goodyear. And a 3-run homer by Jose Lopez puts the Indians up 10-3.
Must be that slot in the batting order, hitting a Duncan spot who hit the 2-run homer last inning. Now the 3-run homer by Lopez. He gets the barrel head out in front. Quick to the baseball right there. Kept his hands back. And you can see where he hit that ball out in front of home plate. Drives it down the line. Fair territory into the berm. 10-3 ball game.
Well, the Indians offensively haven't made a lot of noise this spring, but they're busting out of it here today. 10 runs on 11 hits, make it an even dozen knocks now as Kanzler has collected his third base hit of the game.
Well, find the holes. He's swinging a hot bat and has all spring, and he finds a hole right back up the middle. It's his third hit today, all singles. Hit number 12 for the Indians.
Jack Hanahan 0 for 3.
1-1 to count.
Big chopper foul, first base side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the home half of the 7th, and already 3 runs in for Cleveland. That foul got a piece of A.J. Brzezinski, and the veteran will take a moment to walk it off.
Well, you talk about the veteran. That veteran plays every day. He doesn't miss baseball games. He has not been on the disabled list in his career.
Grounded to first. They go to second, get one. A relay in time. So McPherson did a nice job of getting it started. And Ramirez returning the throw. And they get 2. Tickets are now on sale for the High School Athletic Association Boys and Girls State Basketball Tournaments. Girls tournaments this weekend. Boys will take the court at the Schottenstein Center on Thursday, March 22nd, run it through Saturday the 24th. You can get your tickets through Ticketmaster or in person at the Schottenstein Center. Call 800-745-3000 or visit Ticketmaster.com. Chad Huffman with a base hit, and Viciado boots it around again. Boy, he's having a rough day out there, and all he can do is turn and smile. Almost expected him to go Paul O'Neill and try to kick it all the way back to the infield.
There was a pitch up in the strike zone, and he's got to get that boxing glove off of his hand today. That's he just had a tough time catching anything. It may be a new glove, but he better go get an old one.
Another pitching change for the White Sox. Donnie Veal battered around by the Indians for 3 runs on 4 hits here in the 7th. 10-3 Cleveland. For the 7th, and right-hander Nate Jones now coming on for Chicago. He'll be facing Jason Donald with a runner at first and 2 down. The Indians leading it 10-3. They've scored 3 times here in the 7th inning. 3-run homer by Jose Lopez. Last inning there was a 2-run homer by Shelley Duncan.
I'd like to see the crooked numbers on the board. There haven't been a lot of them so far this spring. Indians tied for him this spring for the most runs they've scored in a game, 10 runs. Ended up beating the Diamondbacks back on March 7th, 10-2.
Up and away. 3 balls and a strike. And a walk to Donald. Huffman moves down to second. Go to the top of the order in Ezekiel Carrera. Caught the corner. And he gets ahead. Nate Jones was a 5th round pick in the White Sox back in 07. He's a product of Northern Kentucky University. Him straight up. Pierzynski calling for it. Can't make the play.
Well, he called everybody off and had a chance at it, just didn't catch it. He has his sunglasses on one of those frustrating days.
So 2 on, 2 out. Inning stays alive. And a 1-2 pitch. Hammered foul. Nate Jones, 3 years in a row, according to Baseball America, has the best curveball in the White Sox organization.
Field coming around third. Huffman waved home. Throw to the plate. Not in time. 11-3 Cleveland. And the Indians have now batted around here in the 7th inning.
Well, you give him second life and he ends up getting a base knock. Inning should be over, but finds the hole between first and second. Throw comes in and no chance. So the Indians add on. It's the second 4-run inning in a row.
Cord Phelps gets his first at bat of the day. Indians sent 8 men to the plate in the 6th inning, and now we've sent 9 here in the 7th.
Yeah.
One and one.
Just from observing here and watching Cord Phelps hit, those hands look like they're up a little bit higher this spring to me. Remember how low they used to be last year down? It looks like they, or he, in the offseason or something, worked on getting them back up there.
The 2-1. Phelps hammers it to right field. Fukudome cuts it off, but Donald will score standing. 12-3 Cleveland as Carrera goes to third. The Indians just continue to hammer the baseball here today.
Boy, he put a good swing on a fastball right there.
So Nate Jones has not retired a batter since he came into the game. He's given up a walk and back-to-back RBI hits. Now Fred Lewis, who started the inning with a walk and came around to score, will bat again. Fred Lewis from Stone High School in Wiggins, Mississippi. Three-sport star there. Basketball team won the state championship when he was in high school. Takes a called third strike to end the inning. 7 in the books. Indians, after erupting for 4 in the 7th and 5 more, or make that 4 in the 6th and 5 more here in the 7th, they lead it by 9. (12-3) in favor of Cleveland. And going to the 8th inning, Tribe goes back to the bullpen. Chen Chang Lee out of Taiwan will pitch. Last year at AAA Columbus, he was 4-0 with a .227 earned run average. Started the year at AA Akron, he was 2-1 with a .250 ERA there. Also now defensively for the Indians, Gregorio Petit has taken over at third base. And now Juan Diaz in at short. Chad Huffman taking over in right field. So I believe the only starter left in the game for the Indians now, Russ Kanzler in left field.
Yeah, that's right.
Alejandro De Aza will lead off for Chicago. He is 0 for 3.
Right up the middle, a leadoff hit. AJ Pierzynski homered his last time up. And a strike over the outside corner.
Now that seems like a long time ago, but it was with 2 outs back in the 6th inning. Where the White Sox added 2. They tied the score at that point in time. And then it has been all Indians ever since.
Out of play the other way. Just the old emergency swing there to fight it off to stay alive.
Well, you mentioned earlier he's one of those guys that he doesn't like to strike out. He finds a way to put it in play, but he was fooled on that pitch, but he found a way to foul it off and stay alive.
For the most part, he's been a very aggressive hitter throughout his career. He likes to get the pitch he's looking for early in the at bat and try to put it in play.
Yeah, he's not going to work the count. He never has been that way.
Ricocheting away from Carlin. I thought maybe it clipped Pierzynski's foot, but it did not. On a wild pitch, Piazza gets into scoring position. Take another look here. This was close to hitting Pierzynski on that back foot.
Well, no stranger to him. You can see now it goes in between. You know, he's going to fake. If that game meant anything, he'd be running down to first base like that ball got him. He's been known to do that.
Bounce to second. Court Phelps will throw him out. 1 away. Piazza to third. That'll bring up Alex Rios, 1 for 3 on the day with a double and a run scored. Boy, just another picture-perfect afternoon here in the Valley of the Sun. It has been a terrific.
The news coming in this weekend, supposedly now, there may be some rain coming into the neighborhood come Sunday.
You don't put a whole lot of stock in that, though, do you?
I don't. I've been out here all winter, and I honest to God, maybe seen a couple of raindrops.
But in Cleveland, when they forecast rain, you plan on it being a healthy rain.
Yeah.
Out here, they forecast rain. What are you talking about? Very rarely do you have a rain that goes.
No, they say 10%, and there may be a cloud somewhere in the state. You know, when they say 10-20%, you get 10-20% at home, and it rains all day. If it rained here like it did back there, we'd have to build arcs.
You don't even have storm sewers here, do you?
No. No.
Because when I have seen it rain, on the rare occasions when I have seen it rain, Water builds up on the streets in a hurry.
Yeah. You got to slow down. You have any, swales or something, you can go get yourself caught underwater. But, it needs it, and hopefully we will see a little bit. But it's not an all-day thing, so. But that is news for out here because it hasn't rained all year long since the new year here.
I remember we were shooting spring training daily that one morning, and there were a few sprinkles that fell out of the sky. And I said, I wonder if they actually call this rain.
It rained on one field, and then over on another field, it wasn't raining. That's raining on a field. That's not.
Looking up into the scun, Jose Lopez gives way to Court Phelps, and Phelps can't make the play in foul ground.
Now it's just tough to do. Tough to do, boy. Running, looking up into high sky, the sun, the wind. And there's really no wind today, so it's just the sky and the run and the sun. Not an easy thing to do. You know what they say, the temperature they announced it before the game back in Cleveland was what, 73 today?
It's been gorgeous though.
Something like that.
Almost for a week now.
Spectacular. Let's hope it stays that way.
Checked on a ball down low. They punch him out at first. 2 down. Rios didn't like it. He has struck out twice today.
Well, he thought he checked it, and he might have. He had the hands out front, but watch, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the call. He wanted to walk to first base on the full count. But at first base, they made the call and said, yes, you did go.
Kosuke Fukudome fouls it back. He is 1 for 2 with a walk. And it's quickly 0-2. Chang Lee trying to work a scoreless 8th here. Close to being a 3-pitch at bat right there, but it's called a ball. 1-2.
Well, he was funny. Lee was walking off the mound like it was a strike, and then all of a sudden had to stop.
Well, remember the other day he thought he had strike 3 to end the inning, and he ended up giving up a run. I'm sorry, that was the leadoff batter.
Right.
To start the inning, and then he ended up
3-2 pitch.
That runner came around to score to tie the game in the 9th inning. The game I'm referring to ended in a tie, 1 of 3 the Indians have played to a tie this spring. Full count. Ball 4. So that keeps the inning alive, and it brings up Alexei Ramirez. We get a pinch runner for Fukudome. That's Jordan Danks coming in to run for Fukudome. His brother John Danks, a key member of that White Sox starting rotation.
Yeah, John signed a big deal this winter, didn't he?
And their sister Emily plays at Ohio State on the volleyball team. High fly ball to center field. Carrera drifting back. Makes the catch, and the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 12-3 Cleveland.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Back here in Goodyear, 12-3 Cleveland. Bottom of the 8th inning, and all kinds of changes now for the White Sox as Robin Ventura has just about emptied his bench. Jose Quintana coming on now for the White Sox. Another left-handed pitcher. Boy,
yeah, they've had
lefties out there.
Well, they brought them all on this trip, that's for sure.
Taking over behind the plate is Josh Faley.
Yeah, I think it's the 4th left-hander that they've had a chance to see today.
And also for Chicago defensively, I think they're all new now. I think the only starter left in the game is Beckham. Eduardo Escobar is now at second base. Trace Thompson in center field. There's Danks and right. Now they still have a couple of starters in there from the game. Brett Morrell still at third, and Diane Viciedo is still in left.
They're trying to make it easy on you. They don't want to make you work today.
Michael Hernandez will lead off for Cleveland. Batting in place of Luke Carlin. Carlin had a couple of base hits. Scored 2 runs. Way up high. Hit to right field, and a running catch made by Danks. Jose Quintana was signed as a free agent after beginning his career with the Mets and moved on to the Yankees. Now trying his hand with the White Sox. Jose Lopez clubbed a 3-run homer to left his first time up. Following the game here on Sports Time Ohio, all bets are off with Bruce Drennan. And then coming up on Saturday, we've got the girls basketball state championships live in high definition from Columbus. They start at 10:30 a.m. with the finale coming your way at 8:30. And then Monday, Rick and I are back 4 o'clock Eastern time. Indians Dodgers live from Goodyear. Out of play.
Got 2 more games left for us on STO, Monday and Wednesday. We get back into the National League. This is our last American League game. We only played 2. Get back into the National League West.
Go Dodgers Giants Monday, Wednesday.
Why not? Yes, we do.
Lopez with a fly ball to left center. He's got a couple of hits, both of them extra bases. He has homered and now he has doubled.
Well, they just spun him up a nice breaking ball though to pull into that gap. Watch this one. That's what you call a hanger out over the plate. Stayed up, kept his hands back, and able to pull it into the gap.
Here's Trevor Crow getting an at bat today, taking over for Russ Kanzler, who was 3 for 4 with 3 singles. And Kanzler has just had a fantastic spring at the plate. And Trevor Crow bangs it into right field for a knock. First and third with 1 out.
Trevor with a couple knocks yesterday over there against the Giants. Comes right back up in his first swing today. Gets a base hit.
Trevor Crow now 4 for 9 on the spring.
Yeah. Little cutter in.
Russ Kanzler with his performance today now 10 for 23 on the spring. Gregorio Petit. Takes a strike. See his numbers last year at AAA. Chopped up the middle. Backhanded by Beckham. Steps on the bag. Throws to first and inning ending double play. We go to the 9th in Goodyear. It's Cleveland 12, Chicago 3. Ninth inning in Goodyear, 12-3, Cleveland on top. And Chris Ray coming on to pitch for the Tribe. 29 games last year with Seattle. Michael Hernandez staying in the game behind the plate. And Trevor Crow is now in left field. Chris Ray 6 years ago saved 33 games with Baltimore. Following year he had 16 more saves with the O's, but he's battled some arm problems since then. Born, or makes his home I should say, in Ashland, Virginia. Born in Tampa, Florida.
You mean there's another place called Ashland besides it's out of Ohio?
They don't count.
Oh, I didn't think so. By the way, we haven't had a shout out yet. Hi, Ashland, Ohio. How are you?
Tell you what, I mean, everybody back home in Ohio is just doing cartwheels over the weather we've been having. We didn't really have a harsh winter by Ohio standards. It was pretty mild for the most part.
Well, it's been that way, I think, all over the whole country.
The Ciedo, a couple of strikeouts and a single today. Up the middle. Phelps on the big hop. Slings it over, one away. Brent Morrell, 1 for 3. A little bit low and away. Right back at him. The folks behind home plate, even with that screen, they always flinch.
Well, you have to. It's just instincts, isn't it? You see something coming at your squash, man, you know you're going to move. Well, at least I am.
Brain says, feet, get moving.
I don't care if there's something protecting you or not. You got to duck. Unless those are just catchers at heart. And they'll take one off the forehead, but no, sir. Have you ever been down behind a screen like that and have one hit back there? It's got to scare you.
You know, standing around the batting cage, you've had one on a foul ball do that. Yeah. Still get you. Great arm by Juan Diaz. Throws out Morrell, 2 down. Dallas McPherson to the plate. The 0-1. Swung on and missed, threw it by him. And now the Indians 1 strike away from nailing down the victory. Ray fires. And McPherson lines it to right field, a base hit. Huffman cuts it off. And the 2-out single keeps the game alive for Chicago. We'll get Gordon Beckham to the plate. He is 0 for 3 today. Ray fires. Beckham lifts it high and foul. This will find the seats. A little bit low. Justin Masterson started this game today for the Indians, and he looked masterful. He went 4 no-hit innings, walked 1, struck out 4.
Yeah, he was fun to watch today. Free and easy, throwing the ball, and it was moving.
Faced the minimum through those 4 innings. Offensively today, the Indians getting a pair of 2-out RBI hits from Ryan Spilborghs early as they build a 3-0 lead. Chicago would rally back to tie the game at 3 apiece. But then in the 6th inning, the Indians took command. A 2-run homer by Shelley Duncan. And then a 2-out 2-run double by Michael Brantley. And it was 7-3 Cleveland after 6. And then effectively they put the game away in the 7th inning when they sent 10 men to the plate. A 3-run homer by Jose Lopez. And a back-to-back 2-out RBI hits by Ezekiel Carreri and Cord Phelps. This should end it. Phelps staggering but makes the catch to end the ball game. Cleveland Indians, with their biggest outburst of the spring, beat the Chicago White Sox by a final score of 12-3. 12 runs on 17 hits, no errors for Cleveland. 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for Chicago.
Well, Justin Masterson was about as good as you're going to see today. He came in by far the best start of the spring. Only his 3rd start, but very relaxed, free and easy. Ball moving all over the place. 4 beautiful innings for Justin. And then Ryan Spilborg dropped a couple of knocks and RBIs in his first 2 at-bats. One to right center, pulled the second one, drove in Kanzler both times this afternoon. The Indians with a big day offensively. And speaking of Kanzler, there's Russ Kanzler. Up the middle, he had 3 base knocks. Continues to swing a hot bat this spring. And both those guys looking to try and make a spot on this roster. For the Indians with a big output, 17 hits, 12 runs on the afternoon. And a big 12-3 win for the Tribe.
So it brings to close another beautiful day here in the desert. The Indians with the win, now 4-7 with 3 ties on the spring. Chicago dropping to 3-9 here in Cactus League play. That's going to wrap up our coverage for Cleveland Indians spring training baseball here this afternoon. For Rick Manning and the rest of our hard-working crew and staff here in Goodyear, Arizona, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Monday when the Indians host the Dodgers here in Goodyear. Have a great night.
Happy St. Patty's Day on Saturday.